Ignore my pasty white sunscreen. I want to talk about this dynamic in relationships where we are not used to expecting people to show up for us. And in doing that, we could end up in relationships where other people chronically don't show up for us. And that's kind of a problem when you are in a relationship where someone doesn't show up for you, because attachment in relationships is based on having a secure base. It's the same as the parental role, where if the child is having a problem, they know they can go to their parent and the parent will likely be there for them. Either emotionally or physically, the parent will be responsive. So if we grew up accepting less than that, then we can end up in a lot of relationships where the pattern is the same, where we're really used to not asking for our needs to get met and really used to the unpredictability of that other person being there for us. When that's happening, the other person in the relationship isn't providing a secure base. And they usually are not providing a secure base because of themselves, because they don't know that it is hurtful to a relationship to not be responsive. They might have avoidance of intimacy issues. They might have their own traumas that they're working through. For whatever reason, the other person in the relationship cannot provide validation, cannot provide a safe place to be there and be intimate. And it's really important to identify this in your relationships and say, I deserve more than someone who doesn't show up for me. And I don't have to blame them for not showing up for me. I can recognize what's going on in their life that makes them unable to provide a secure base for me at this time. It took me a long time to identify that I was willing to accept people that didn't show up for me. It took even longer to recognize that I often blamed myself for their behavior. And once I did figure out that it was them, that it was their problem, for a time I blamed them for showing up that way. Instead of just plainly saying, hey, my needs are not getting met in this relationship and I need you to show up more consistently for me. And then if they didn't do that, simply going, okay, they're not available for relationship in the way that I want. That's good information for me to go ahead and meet my needs, and also to have relationships with people who actually are showing up for me. But I can't stress enough that this pattern is started from having a history of relationships where there is a low level of intimacy, there is a low level of safety, and where generally it's unlikely or unknown whether the person is really going to come through for you. And you may find that you're a chronic giver, that you're always the one giving to the relationship and never the one who has to become vulnerable enough to receive from the relationship.